Okay, I'd go ahead and call to order the September 9th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. I want to let everybody know that you can view the meeting through the city's website at thecityoflaverne.org/stream. And if you want to submit any of your written comments, you can do it via email at planning@cityoflaverne.org. With that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody stand. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay. Natalie, if you could call roll.
Commissioner Allison,
Here.
Commissioner Allred,
Here.
Commissioner Lorch,
Present.
Commissioner May,
Here.
and Chairperson Citizen.
Here. Okay, we're going to move on and move to public comment. This is a time set aside for anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission on items not listed in any other place on this agenda. The California law does not allow the Planning Commission to take action in response to your statements at this meeting, but your concerns may be referred to staff or set to a hearing at a later date. As we are remotely meeting, we're going to give it a minute here to see if Eric has received any comments. And Eric, have you received any comments previous?
We did receive one email over the weekend that I forwarded to the commissioners, so you have that. That has public comment, general public comment, and also public comment on one of the hearing items this evening. I have not yet received any requests to speak over the phone at this point.
Why don't we give it a few seconds here and see if anything shows up, and then we'll move on to the approval of minutes from the last meeting.
Still nothing.
All right, perfect. Let's move on. We're going to move on to approval of minutes from the July 8th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All right. I'm going to go ahead and close the approval of meetings, and we will open our public hearings, beginning with case number 2509 CUP. Eric, do you have anything to add?
I do not, but Maya has a report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairperson and Commissioners. The Planning Commission is being asked tonight to consider the revocation of the conditional use permit, which allows the operation of a massage establishment known as 555 Resolutions, Inc., also goes by My Health, at 1451 Foothill Boulevard due to violations of the California Penal Code, California Health and Safety Code, Los Angeles County Health Code, and the Laverne Municipal Code. So as a bit of background, the Planning Commission originally approved and adopted the conditional use permit for a massage establishment at 1451 Foothill Boulevard on July 9th, 2009. Since then, the city did update the massage ordinance in April 2015 in order to be consistent with current state law. Per that updated massage ordinance, any previously approved conditional use permits that were approved under the previous massage ordinance, if any of those CUPs had any conditions of approval that were contrary to the requirements of the updated massage ordinance, then the updated massage ordinance as of April 2015 would take precedence over those. So in effect, the My Health massage CUP is subject to all of the conditions and provisions of the current massage ordinance as of April 2015. This fact was further affirmed in March 2018 when the Community Development Department issued a certificate of use and occupancy and a certificate of operation authorizing operation of My Health under new ownership of Mr. Kenneth S. Snoller, subject to the conditions of approval for case number 25-09 CUP, so the original CUP, as well as all requirements of the city's existing massage ordinance. On July 22nd, 2020, the Community Development Department staff notified the Laverne Police Department of potential violations occurring at My Health based on online information associated with the business that we found, as well as staff's own observations of apparent activity occurring inside the premises, despite current county and state orders prohibiting inside operation of any personal service businesses such as massage establishments due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. So we notified the police department, and the police department conducted additional research and ultimately performed an undercover operation in conjunction with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Human Trafficking Task Force on August 18th, 2020. That operation led to the arrest of a masseuse and a manager for solicitation of prostitution. The police department subsequently conducted a criminal investigation and administrative inspection, which revealed multiple violations, including the operation of a massage establishment inside, despite the state and county public health departments, as well as public health officers' orders, as well as multiple violations of the massage ordinance's provisions relating to operational requirements, building and facility requirements, and inspections. All the details of those violations are specified in the notice of intent to revoke or suspend that was attached to the staff report. So based on these violations and the substantial evidence of prostitution that the police department found, on August 19th, 2020, the police department issued a notice of intent to suspend or revoke the certificate of operation and the operator permits associated with My Health. No response was received and no appeal was filed, and so the operator permits and certificate of operation were formally revoked effective August 28th, 2020. The violations that were identified in the police department's criminal investigation and administrative inspection, which again, they're specified and detailed in the attachment, are in violation of the conditions of approval for case number 25-09 CUP, specifically conditions of approval numbers 1, 4, and 8. Condition number 1 requires adherence to all conditions of the massage ordinance's provisions relating to the operation of a massage establishment. And My Health violated that ordinance, the ordinance's regulations pertaining to operational requirements, building and facility requirements, and inspections. Condition number 4 required the owner or operator of the business to report suspicious or criminal behavior to the police department immediately. However, neither the owner nor operator reported the criminal behavior that was ultimately uncovered by the police department's operation. Lastly, condition number 8 stipulates that the owner or operator is responsible for ensuring that all employees comply with all regulations and laws. However, the owner nor the operator ensured their employees were complying with those regulations. So section 18.108.110 of the Laverne Municipal Code allows the Planning Commission to revoke a conditional use permit if any of the following findings can be made. 1, that any condition of a conditional use permit has not been complied with or has been violated. 2, that the use is detrimental to the public health or safety or is a nuisance. 3, that the conditional use permit was obtained by fraud. 4, that the use for which the permit was granted is not being exercised. Or 5, that the use for which the permit was granted has ceased or been suspended for 1 year or more. So given the evidence and information presented by the police department, staff finds that multiple conditions of the conditional use permit have been violated. Furthermore, we find that the continued operation of the business, for which the police department found substantial evidence of prostitution, will be detrimental to the public health and safety of the community and will constitute a nuisance. So based on the information and attachments included in this staff report and the documentation provided by the police department, we believe that all this information supports these findings. So staff is requesting the Planning Commission to consider and authorize the revocation of the conditional use permit for My Health massage establishment. Revoking the CUP will ensure that no other massage establishment business can go in at the same location under the same conditional use permit. The police department is supportive of revoking the CUP. A notice of public hearing was published in the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin on August 28th, 2020, and notices were mailed to all property owners within 300 feet on August 25th, 2020. Additionally, we were required to notify the business owner and the property owner. So we sent by certified mail with return receipt notices to the My Health business address, to the business owner's personal address, and to the property owner, and received confirmation on August 31st, 2020, that all 3 of those notices were delivered to the aforementioned persons and locations. Staff has not received any comments from the public, nor any response from the owners or operators of My Health. So with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission revoke the conditional use permit, case number 25-09 CUP, approved under resolution number 1006, allowing the operation of a massage establishment located at 1451 Foothill Boulevard by approving Planning Commission resolution number 1266. If you have any questions, I'm available from staff to answer those for you. Thank you.
And real quick, if I may, I apologize, Maya, I don't know that I actually forwarded to you. Mr. Salinas' email did have a comment on this item submitted in his email. It simply asked how long prostitution had been going on. Obviously, we're unaware of it. The police department, when they found out that it was, made the arrest. So there's no knowledge of how long that might have been happening at the location.
All right, thank you, Maya. Thank you, Eric. I'm going to go ahead and open this case number to public hearing. Again, we're going to go ahead and give it a few seconds to see if any other additional comments come in via email. Eric, I expect you have nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to questions from the commission. Let's start with Thomas. Do you have any questions?
Just briefly, just to confirm, it does look like the people who were arrested were owners / operators of the massage parlor, correct?
Yes, the manager that was arrested is, I believe, married to the owner.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Commissioner Lorge.
Thank you. I think it's good news for our city that this is being hopefully revoked. My question, though, is in regards to other massage parlors in the city. Rather than taking a reactive approach, is there something we can do to be more proactive and see if this is something that's going on with the others as well?
I believe the police department, they have a sergeant who's assigned to inspect massage establishments. So I'm not familiar with what their rotation or schedule is, but they do have officers who are assigned specifically to do inspections and to ensure that the massage establishments are complying with all the provisions of the massage ordinance.
One of the provisions of the operator permit specifically requires them or provides access to either the police department or city staff to do unannounced inspections at any point during their business hours. So they all have to agree to that when they get their operator's permit. So we have that ability to do so.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner May.
Thank you. What does this leave the count for massage establishments in the city at this point? I know there was an abundance.
I can look that up for
Roughly.
you.
Well,
I believe it's about 12.
Okay.
It's either 11 or 12. I don't know for sure.
And I'm sure they're all aware of the new scrutiny.
The police department did do a press release after they made the arrest that they put out on social media. So I know that it was being discussed in the community. Whether those businesses directly had knowledge, I'm not sure.
Okay. No other questions.
Commissioner Allred.
No questions.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation, Maya. We're going to go ahead. Seems like a pretty straightforward situation, and I want to see if we have a motion to revoke 2509 CUP Resolution 1006 and approve Resolution 1266.
I'll make a motion to revoke the first number you read and approve the second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Go and take a vote on that. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Looks like we have revoked the 2509 CUP, Resolution 106, and approved 1266.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to public hearings item number 3, which is case number 73-20 CUP, which is the conditional use permit for late night business at Taco Bell. Eric, do you have anything to add?
I do not, but Candace has a report.
Case number 73-20 CUP, request for conditional use permit for late night business at Taco Bell, 1401 Foothill Boulevard.
Candace? I'm sorry, but would you mind speaking up a little bit? It's hard to hear you.
I feel like I'm filmed.
All right.
Try this. Okay. So the applicant, Ron Ely, the representative of Taco Bell, is requesting a conditional use permit to operate the existing Taco Bell drive-through restaurant as a late night business at 1401 Foothill Boulevard in the Heritage Plaza Shopping Center. The Planning Commission approved the business in early 2019 as a single tenant drive-through use. The building is now complete and open, and the applicant is requesting the operation of a late night business. A conditional use permit is required by the Foothill Boulevard specific plan for businesses operating between the hours of 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., less than 300 feet from residential properties. The restaurant is proposing to operate the drive-through Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m., and Friday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. The dining room hours are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Instead of limiting the hours of operation, the Development Review Committee recommended changing condition number 8 to allow for 24-hour operations with the ability for the Community Development Director to restrict the hours if any issues arise. The applicant has communicated that he does not anticipate Taco Bell utilizing the 24-hour operation in the near future, but appreciates the recommendation in case something changes. They will not be required to come back to the Planning Commission if they want to change their hours. The Laverne Police Department supports the request and does not anticipate any issues regarding the late night operations. And with that, staff and the Development Review Committee find that the proposal meets all requirements and recommendations that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 1265, approving case number 73-20 CUP, with the DRC change to condition number 8 to allow the 24-hour operation instead of limiting the hours from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And the applicant is available here, Ron, if you have any questions of him, and I will be available from staff if you have any questions.
Thank you, Candace. Let's go ahead and before we open public hearing, is it all right, Eric, if we go ahead and just hear from Ron at this point?
Yes, of course.
Perfect. Ron?
Hey, when we got the original CUP for the late night hours, it was suggested to go ahead and move to 24 hours. We don't have any stores of the 41 franchises that I work for that operate 24 hours. I think our latest goes to 4 in the morning. It probably will not get used. Seems like the community, everything seems to die down after 11 anyway. So, it's probably worth, having in case, late night hours ramp up, then we don't have to go back through this process. But I'm not anticipating, pushing the hours any further than 2 o'clock a.m.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that feedback. Go ahead and open for public hearing. Again, we're going to be taking emails. Eric, you're monitoring those emails. Let's give it a few seconds and see if anybody has any comments to make. Again, emails can be sent to planning@cityoflaverne.org. And if any individuals in the next meeting want to share during live stream, you can email planning@cityoflaverne.org by 6 p.m. on the day before of the meeting. Or sorry, yeah, 6 p.m. by the day of the meeting, and they'll let you on. Eric,
No emails received.
all right. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to questions from commissioners. Let's start with Commissioner Allred. Jeff, do you have anything?
So I'm just curious about why the Development Review Committee made the recommendation to go 24 if that wasn't requested by the the business owner or operator.
They stated that they didn't want to have the applicant to have to come back. If they wanted to just extend it to maybe 3 a.m., then they wouldn't be restricting the hours to have to go through the process to get a new CUP or a revised CUP. That it just made sense if there weren't any issues with it, then to just do the full 24 hours at this point.
I will make mention that in the past, we had that happen to us where there was a business that we conditioned it specifically on the hours they proposed to us. 2 years later, their corporation changed their hours by an hour or a half an hour, whatever it was. And we realized that we had locked them into this very restrictive time frame to where the only way to change it was to go back to a public hearing process, back to Planning Commission, to give them that extra half an hour, which nobody had raised any concerns the first time around. So we kind of learned a lesson from that. And if there isn't concerns raised, we're supportive of the 24-hour operation.
And is the police department supportive of that as well? It says in the report they're supportive of late night operations, but not the 24 hours.
Yes, it was confirmed with them after the DRC meeting as well.
Okay. Commissioner Lorch?
Are there any other 24-hour restaurants in our city that currently operate 24 hours?
So there are some that are outside of the residential boundary, the 300, what is it? 300 feet to residential. We think McDonald's is possibly one of them that might be open 24 hours.
Jack in the Box, did they receive it?
They didn't do like,
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
So yeah, as Candace mentioned, that if they're outside of 300 feet from residential, they actually don't need a conditional use permit. So they're allowed to be 24 hours if they wish to. We have other late night permits for near 24 hours. Some of our gyms have early hours. I don't know, Bob, do you remember any specific projects that have 24?
I know that Jack in the Box was, I think, open 24 because they had some friends working late shift that said, finally, something is open.
Yeah, that seems right to me as well.
Did I hear you say too, somebody said that the police were concerned with the 24 hours, or did I hear that wrong?
They're not concerned.
They're not concerned, okay. Yeah, the reason I asked the question about the other restaurants, even if they're not by residential, is I just wanted to see if there's been an issue in the city with, the late night 24-hour restaurants. That's the reason for the question. But it sounds like there's other ones in the city operating and it hasn't been an issue before. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner May?
Thank you. My questions have been answered already with these by the previous people. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Allison?
Candace, I just want to confirm that there's no administrative costs or any waste that is incurred by granting this permit when it's not needed or requested.
Making sure there's no what?
Like cost for making it 24 hours versus the limited hours that they requested. I don't believe so, Commissioner Allison. What happens is these type of projects, when they file with us, they're on a deposit project. So any staff time associated with processing the application is charged directly back to the applicant. And we hold on to the deposit for about a year to make sure there's no compliance issues. So if we do have code enforcement issues or something with the late night operation that all of a sudden our police department has a second thoughts on, we can bring it back and we hold that deposit on file so that the applicant's responsible for those costs initially. Eventually, we would refund any money in the account. So 5 years from now, if there was an issue, then the city would have to incur the cost of enforcing that to some degree.
Thank you.
I have one question or two questions. One, you said 300 feet was the kind of limit line to where you don't need any consideration for 24 hours, correct, between residences. How far is this Taco Bell facility from any residences?
It's pretty close to that. It's like 280 or something.
All right, so we're talking like 20 feet, so there's no residences close, but close would be what's south on White Avenue on the west side there, just south of Del Taco.
Wheeler. On Wheeler, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Wheeler. Second question, and this is more to Ron. So you're saying that just specifically, there's really no intent of ever going 24-hour right now because the amount of people utilizing the restaurant at that time wouldn't pay the overhead at this point in this location.
That's correct. There's also some other internal concerns with, we found that the stores don't get cleaned properly if you don't have a closing crew clean the store and actually leave and have an opening crew come in and set up. So we just don't, the brand doesn't really do, corporate doesn't really do 24 hours unless it's a huge demand for it. And I don't see this ever. We might adjust it. I mean, I could only see it maybe an hour. In fact, there's actually a possibility, to be honest with it, we could restrict the hours possibly. You know, if 2 o'clock, you know, 2 months from now, we are a new entity in town, so it could drop off. So it could go the other way. Hopefully not, but we hope to keep it where it's at. But I don't see it going more than an hour later.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So, it seems like the suggestion is just a matter of reducing process for unforeseens in the future, but operations aren't really going to affect it.
No.
All right, then let's go ahead and.
I have a question again.
Yeah.
Eric, do you personally support the DRC action to go 24 hours on this?
Yeah, in fact, I'm the DRC member that proposed it.
Okay. All right.
Wonderful. So any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners? No? All right, let's go see. Do I have a motion to approve case number 73-20 CUP resolution 1265?
I'll move approval.
No second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Congratulations, Ron.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your help.
I'm going to close public hearings. Eric, is there anything else you'd like to add to this meeting before we adjourn?
Just two brief items. First, I want to let the Planning Commission know that the city did submit or send out an RFP to consultants to help draft our housing element update, which is required to be done about this time next year. That is one of the elements of our general plan. As you know, we were really wrapping up our general plan update right before COVID hit. So that's been on pause. And now that we're cycling up on the housing element required update, which the general plan update had originally not included, we felt that it was important to move forward and kind of do those at the same time since they're kind of on the same track at this point. We did send out that RFP, and we unfortunately only received one qualifying proposal, but it falls within the parameters of what the city is expecting for it. So we hope to go to the city council with a contract for that. Probably, it looks like the first meeting in October, but it is also happens to be the same consultant that worked on our housing or our general plan update, which is de novo planning. So those two things will tie in together nicely, I think, provided that it gets approved. The better news of all this is that the city is being awarded LEAP grant monies, which are designed specifically to help cities do these type of planning and housing element updates to help produce housing in the state of California. Most cities, I think, because we're all pretty much all on the cycle when our housing elements are required to be updated. And so most cities, I think, are using these same funds for the same purpose. And it does appear that our funding will be able to fully pay for our housing element update. So bad news is that the general plan is going to take a little bit more of a backseat, just so that we can present these both at the same time to the Planning Commission as the City Council with the full environmental impact report. So that way it's one cohesive document. And then the housing element will be needed to be updated in about 8 years from then. So probably in about a year from now, you'll see, we'll definitely have workshops with the Planning Commission before then, but about a year from now, we'll be having the public hearings before the Planning Commission for both the general plan and the housing element update. If there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer them as best I can.
I think you answered, is it going to cost us anything and when are we going to see it? And that was perfect. Thank you.
And then just real quick, right now, we don't have any projects tracking to go to the Planning Commission in October. So I don't recall what that date is off the top of my head, but it doesn't look like right now that we have a need for a meeting in October. But obviously, we will let you know once we get closer to that date and confirm one way or the other.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, planners. We're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Hope you guys all have a safe evening and hopefully see you in a month. If not, see you in 2.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.